Hello Udacity students. I wanted to share with you today my personal list of resources which I found very useful when I was preparing for the data analysis nano degree. You might feel a bit intimidated by me introducing new resources, while you might still be getting acquainted with the Udacity platform itself. Why I'm doing this to you is because it is very important to be aware that when you are stuck on some element while writing your own project, writing your own code, sometimes you might really benefit from just stepping back and taking a look at your problem from someone else's point of view. Sometimes everyone's mind works a bit different, so sometimes it's very useful to consult some other material just to see other authors' view on a given problem, a given solution, a given technology. Another important aspect of consulting other sources and following other authors is that the field of data analysis is constantly changing. There are still constantly new technologies being introduced, new updates for programming languages, new programs which we can use to clean our data, visualize our data, and by following either blogs of your favorite authors or podcasts which are constantly telling you about new developments in the field and new trends used by different authors, this helps you keep up to date and helps you maintain your employability. First group of resources I wanted to talk about are books, and I wanted to mention that all of these resources are available online. So if you want to check some of these, there is a list of links to these resources in the description of the video, if you're watching it on YouTube, or in a separate text file if you have received it. And first group of these resources I wanted to talk about are books. And first of this is Sweigart Automate the Boring Stuff with Python. This is a really great book. It's a gentle yet very practical introduction to the Python language. You can use it even if you don't know much about Python, or even if you don't have any experience with Python itself. And Sweigart's book introduces you to very simple solutions which can help you perform some daily office tasks with use of quite basic Python scripts. Let's say in the course of your office work you have two templates for Excel files, and you find yourself constantly changing one Excel file into another format and the other format into the first again. With Automate the Boring Stuff with Python, you can easily learn how to write a simple Python script which does all the work for you, therefore cutting down your weekly work by hours. You can perform hours of work within minutes with some of these solutions. Why the book is still very relevant to data analysis particularly is, for me personally, its section about web scraping. Scraping the internet for relevant resources is absolutely daily work for data analysts, and it forms some of the basic skills which are required of you in this position. It is also very important if you come up with an idea for your own original project. Sometimes we don't find clear datasets available online. We need to create these datasets by ourselves, and web scraping helps us do that. It helps us access the websites, extract relevant data from the websites, and work with it. The next book I wanted to talk is Jake VanderPlas's Python Data Science Handbook. I find it a really great introduction to Python, to the use of Python in data science, and also a great handbook for the initial portion of the nano degree, where you are using how to access data and transform data and present data using the language of Python. You can see in the book of Jake VanderPlas that he goes through the very introductory phase, which is also presented in the introduction to the nanodegree. He introduces IPython notebooks, which you'll end up constantly using in your work as data analysts, and in preparing different projects for data analysis. He goes through NumPy, which is a very powerful, very fast Python library for performing mathematical tasks. He goes through pandas, which help you transform data and present data, through matplotlib, which helps you visualize data, to machine learning itself, with which you can perform statistical analysis and proofs with different aspects of your data. I find the book by Jake VanderPlas to be a great companion for the first module of the nanodegree. Both of these books are available online for free on the websites of their authors. Sweigart, Automate the Boring Stuff with Python is available on a separate website. You can find links to the books in the description of the video. Next group of resources, just 3 resources I wanted to talk about, are websites. And the first one of these is Programming Historian, a website which is very important for me myself because I am a scholar in humanities, and very often I find myself in need of some reference of how to perform programming tasks on textual material, on historical material. And this website presents you with a group of with a collection of tutorials on how to do exactly that. They introduce SQL, and they introduce Python, they introduce R, they teach you how to use these resources for dealing with historical data. I found this website really helpful for my own projects in my field of study. What is also interesting in the Programming Historian is that you can contribute your own tutorials to the website. If you find yourself using Python for doing textual analysis, for example, for doing statistical analysis of a corpus of text, you can make a simple tutorial for that, and you can send it to Programming Historian team, who will upload it to their platform. Next website I wanted to talk about, which you might very well be acquainted with, is Kaggle, the website which hosts programming competitions for data analysts. While programming competitions in Kaggle might sound a bit intimidating at first, I think it's very important for you to be aware of this, because first, the website contains a quite new but constantly growing learning section, which presents you with a variety of resources for solving the projects yourself and for participating in the projects yourself. And second, it is because as data analysts, we constantly need to develop our own projects. We constantly need to perfect our projects for our personal portfolio, which is always required by new employees, by new potential places willing to hire you. And Kaggle helps you do exactly that. It helps you. It presents you with different data sets which are already prepared for analysis, and it gives you a set of tasks which you need to perform with these data sets, therefore helping you develop a set of projects for your own portfolio. Of course, Kaggle competitions usually have some monetary prizes for the winners of the first places. While it is of course great to win some money from time to time, I encourage you to access these projects not so much for these monetary benefits. It is more helpful to access it as a way of building your own portfolio, of perfecting your own skills in data analysis. The third resource I wanted to talk about is Reddit's Data is Beautiful group. If you are familiar with Reddit, you might have stumbled upon it. It's a community of around 13 million people who daily keep uploading their own data visualizations. Most of them are performed using very simple programs like Excel or Tableau. Some of them are accomplished with Python scripts or R scripts. So there's a great variety of visualizations uploaded daily, and there's a great number of people commenting on this, providing friendly criticism. If you create your own data, your own visualizations in your own work, you can also upload it there as original content, and you can meet some productive criticism from all the variety of people accessing this website daily. The third group of resources I found helpful in my own work are podcasts, and I wanted to just briefly mention two of them. The first is Linear Digressions, a podcast hosted by Ben Jaff and Katie Malone. Katie Malone is one of the creators of some of the modules for the original data analysis nano degree on Udacity. In this podcast, which is uploaded weekly, the authors are talking about new developments in the field of data science, new solutions, and typical problems which are encountered by data analysts and data analysis students. I found it really inspiring, and it is a really great resource to keep up to date with technical aspects of data analysis. And the second podcast I wanted to mention is Storytelling with Data by Cole Nussbaumer-Knaflic. Cole Knaflic is author of the book titled Unsurprisingly Storytelling with Data as well, and the podcast is in a way extension of the book. It talks about the visual aspect of data analysis, and it puts emphasis on something that data analysts sometimes forget about while working on the technical aspects of their analysis. It is the fact that your data, your presentation needs to tell a story, and what this podcast keeps reminding you is that it is this communicative element that is the primary concern of your analysis. You can be great at technical tasks, but if your project doesn't tell the story, doesn't communicate with the recipient, it's still not a good project. I find it really useful to keep in touch with this side of our work as well, not only on perfecting our technical skills. These are all the resources that I wanted to talk about today. And you can find links in the description of the video. I hope you will find this helpful, and I hope that you'll consult these resources in your own time. Thank you.